Good evening, welcome to the 7 o'clock English news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The Sultan of Oman condemns the burning of Kamal Adwan Hospital by the Israeli occupation forces and renews its firm position in achieving just peace and the establishment of the Palestinian state. The Ministry of Health launches tomorrow the National Survey Project for non-communicable diseases in all governorates of the Sultanate of Oman. And the gross domestic product increases by 1.9%, exceeding 28.1 billion Omani riyals by the end of the third quarter of this year. Those are the headlines, and now the news in detail. The Foreign Ministry issued a statement as follows. The Sultan of Oman condemned the continued aggression of the Israeli occupation forces on the Gaza Strip and its burning of Kamal Adwan Hospital and forcing patients and medical staff to evacuate it by force, ignoring all international demands for a ceasefire, protection of civilians and respect for international humanitarian law. The Sultan of Oman renewed his firm position in achieving just peace and the establishment of an independent Palestinian state in accordance with the provisions of international law. The Israeli occupation continues its intensive raid on neighborhoods in the Gaza Strip, which left a number of martyrs and wounded. The occupation forces launched a bombardment targeting tents for the displaced west of Rafah city, which resulted in a number of injuries, while drone targeted a gathering of Palestinians in Jabalia camp, during which about 4 Palestinians were martyred. The occupation forces also bombed another gathering of civilians in the middle of the strip, which resulted in the martyrdom of more than 10 Palestinians. For its part, the Palestinian Ministry of Health said that the occupation forces stormed Kamal Adwan Hospital for the second time and arrested a number of doctors and nurses, including the hospital director. UNRWA Commissioner General Philippe Lazzarini warned that children in the Gaza Strip are suffering from severe cold due to lack of shelter and humanitarian aid. Lazzarini pointed out that winter supplies have been stuck for months, awaiting Israeli approval to enter the Strip, in the light of the urgent need for them due to the cold weather. The World Health Organization also announced the death of 3 children in 1 week due to low temperatures and lack of food aid. The UN expressed alarm over ongoing attacks by Israelis in the Gaza Strip and called for the protection of health facilities in the enclave. In this regard, Stéphanie Tremblay, associate spokesperson for the UN Secretary General, had this to say.
The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs is alarmed by ongoing attacks across the Gaza Strip that have left scores of Palestinians dead. Our colleagues are telling us that an airstrike near Kamal Adwan Hospital in North Gaza Governorate last night reportedly killed dozens of people, including health workers. Today, we're also told by our colleagues that staff, patients, and their companions were forced out of the facility. Significant damage to the hospital has also been reported. The team in Gaza City said that few water wells are operating in areas where displaced people have gathered and the sewage network has been damaged. There is no solid waste management. Hospitals are overcrowded and people are living in unsanitary conditions that are raising the risk of disease outbreaks. Our colleagues also tell us that people at displacement sites also face risks due to potential flooding.
The United Nations Security Council has approved a resolution to deploy a new African Union mission to support and stabilize Somalia starting on January 1st. The resolution was adopted by a majority of 14 votes, with one country, the United States, abstaining. The Security Council authorized African Union members to take all necessary measures for a period of 12 months to establish a new peacekeeping mission in Somalia. Ukraine received its first batch of liquefied natural gas LNG from the U.S., a deal that Kyiv says that will boost Ukrainian and European energy security as a major gas transit deal with Russia ends despite the war with Moscow has continued to pump gas across Ukraine to Europe under the multi-billion euro deal, an agreement Kyiv has long said it will not renew when it expires on the end of 2024. The company confirmed that the consignment of approximately 100 million cubic meters of gas was the first U.S. shipment to Ukraine, which has been battered by Russian attacks on its energy grid throughout the near three-year war. The European Union has been unable to completely cut its energy link with Moscow, despite also ramping up purchases of LNG since Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine. With 4 wheels and a bright red paint job, the AI-powered robot cattle herder is developed to solve major farmers' issues. Here's a report on that.
Swagbot is not an average cow. Researchers at the University of Sydney hope this autonomous robot will become the world's first smart cow, able to make cattle farming more efficient and environmentally friendly. First launched in 2016, what was initially a simple herding robot capable of traversing rugged terrain has been updated with sensors, artificial intelligence, and machine learning systems.
Once the cattle are used to the robot, they will follow the robot around. And so if you move to certain parts of the pasture, the animals will follow through. And if you stop, then they'll stop and they can graze that particular part. And why that's important is because if you overgraze, then you ruin the pasture, and so you don't want to overgraze. So you want to move the animals to the right part of the pasture where there's good protein, good carbs.
Swagbot can determine the health, type, and density of pastures and monitor the health of livestock. It uses this data to autonomously herd cattle to the best pastures and move them before land is overgrazed and soil becomes degraded. However, Australia is one of the world's biggest beef exporters, with around 30 million cattle spread across a vast landscape that is often dry and whose pastures can be poor.
People are worried that it might replace people, but I don't think it will. I think it's more a role of monitoring and feeding information back rather than actually sending it out to do things.
Farmers constantly assess how many animals their land can support, but many have little control over where the animals graze within large enclosed areas. Overgrazing can lead to poorer soils that support less plant and animal life. Swagbot is part of a growing trend of robots being developed for the agriculture industry, as farmers look for innovative ways to meet this increasing demand for sustainable and efficient farming practices amid labor shortages and environmental concerns.
Still to come, a news bulletin. The secluded village of Al-Sirfana in Al-Bremi Governorate attracts visitors seeking to enjoy peace and quiet away from the vibes of urban cities. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate Oman Television. Now back in the Sultanate, the Minister of Health will launch tomorrow, Sunday, the National Survey of Non-Communicable Diseases, which will cover all governorates of the Sultanate of Oman, targeting citizens and residents aged 15 years and above, and will be carried out by 2 phases. The Minister of Health aims to reduce the risks of contracting non-communicable diseases to improve individuals' health throughout their lives. The Ministry calls upon the citizens and residents to support the national project, which will benefit everyone by enhancing the health of current and future generations. The ministry urges all people not paying attention to the rumors circulating about the health teams implementing the survey and obtaining correct information from its official sources. The South of Oman GDP and constant price recorded an increase of 1.9% at the end of the third quarter of this year, reaching at market price to 28,146,200,000 Omani riyals compared to the same period last year. Preliminary data released by the National Center for Statistics and Information indicated that the added value of oil activities decreased by 2.8%, recording 8,881,000,000 Omani riyals by the end of the third quarter of this year, while crude oil activities recorded 7,449,200,000 Omani riyals, decreasing by 4.1%, while natural gas activities increased by 4.7%, recording over 1.4 billion Omani riyals. The North Al-Sirfana Award for Innovative Economy was launched to strengthen the governorate's contribution to the national economy and fulfill the objectives of Oman Vision 2040 to achieve decentralization of governorates. The North Al-Sirfana Award for Innovative Economy includes three categories: institutional innovation, volunteer works, and architectural innovation. The architectural innovation will focus on exploring novel architectural schemes for important sites in the wilayas of Bidia, Ibra, Mudaibi, and Sinau in order to introduce new sites to the tourism sectors. The institutional innovation and volunteer works categories aims to encouraging collaboration between the public sector and the civil community to serve the public interest. The award launch ceremony was held under the patronage of His Excellency Dr. Mohammed bin Said Bawin, Minister of Labour. Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Al-Lahira Governorate branch organized an entertainment gathering in Wadi Fida. The entertainment gathering aims at introducing tourist places available in the Wilayat of Dhanq and providing a series of recreational activities and events to families and children. The gathering will host running competitions and exhibition for productive families to promote their handicrafts and products. The Directorate General of Health Services in the Al-Dakhiliya Governorate concluded the Health Forum for Civil Society Institutions. The event was presided over by His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Salim Al-Mandri, Under Secretary of the Ministry of Health for Planning and Health Organization. For more details in the following report.
Providing a platform to analyze health indicators, address pressing challenges, and propose recommendations for improving public health. The Health Forum for Civil Society Institutions was concluded at Nizwa Cultural Center in the Al-Dakhiliya Governorate, tackling major health issues and proposing actionable solutions.
This forum, plays an example of the partnership between the health institutes and the community. The objective mainly to get in action the active involvement of the community in reviewing the health indicators and planning for intervention and suggesting different approaches to sort out these problems.
Among the key recommendations were increasing access to early detection services, improving supportive environments for healthy living, offering psychological counseling for newlyweds, raising awareness about HIV, and the importance of treatment adherence.
The forum had focused on 5 main themes, which are the common issues and obstacles. The first one is the non-communicable disease and its risk factors, which is one of the high endemics in Oman and other countries. The other one is the mental health, and to emphasize to the community that we need to get aware about the risk of mental health and therapy is available. The other theme is which we are facing the Dakhiliya government in the high prevalence of the inherited blood disorder like sickle cell disease. This group are discussing how to prevent and get people aware about the disease and go on to the premarital screening. The fourth committee plays a role to emphasize on the HIV and disease and its risk factor for the transfer and the infection control itself, and plays a role in the getting people involved in the suggestion of the intervention plans. The fifth committee plays on the main theme of this forum is how to involve actively the community institutions into the planning of our services.
With active contributions from civil society, government and academic sectors, the forum provided a clear roadmap for tackling health challenges through public engagement, marking a significant step towards sustainable community health management. The outcomes of the forum will set the stage for innovative partnerships that will leave a lasting impact for a healthier Oman. Reporting from Nizwa Cultural Center, this is Saleh Bukhalfan al-Rahbi, الداخلية, Governorate.
Al-Sirfana village in Al-Buraymi Governorate is one of the villages that is distinguished by its ancient authenticity and charming natural beauty. The village attracts tourists and visitors who seek to enjoy its tourist attractions, to enjoy a piece of calmness away from the crowds of cities. The village is in a secluded place, surrounded by a chain of mountains, forest-like palm farms, and is blessed by foliage turning place into a green oasis. You're watching the Sultan of Oman television. Before end of tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Sultan of Oman condemns the burning of Kamal Adwan Hospital by the Israeli occupation forces and renews its firm position in achieving just peace and establishment of the Palestinian state. The Ministry of Health launches tomorrow the National Survey Project for Non-Communicable Diseases in all governorates of the Sultanate of Oman. And the gross domestic product increases by 1.9%, exceeding 28.1 billion Omani riyals by the end of the third quarter of this year. And that's the end of the news from all over here in the newsroom and the studios. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Good night.